Hi, class. We've been learning a lot of different stuff about atoms, the parts, the particles in them, how we can take information from the periodic table and learn about specific parts and particles that are located in um, different elements. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at what happens when we take atoms and we combine them together and we make different combinations of atoms. What exactly does that cause? We know that atoms make up everything. And what you're going to do today is you're going to be taking notes on the top of your lab sheet. So your lab sheet is right here. This is the top part where you're going to take notes. You're going to write definitions of 3 different things called a compound, mixture, and element. And you're going to write down some information about how we can tell it's a compound, a mixture, or an element. So we'll start with an element. Write the definition next to the word element in the rectangle. And then you know it's an element because it only has one capital letter in its formula. If it had more than one capital letter, it would not be an element. It would be some combination of elements. So what we do in our lab today is we're going to look for one capital letter in the formula. If there's multiple capital letters, it's not an element. All right, next up is what's called a molecule. This is in blue, so you don't have to write it down. That's why there's no space for you to write it down on your paper. Molecule is a general term for when we combine atoms. The first molecule or combination of atoms we're going to talk about is what's called a compound. This is when we have 2 or more atoms joined together, and they can't be physically separated. And the main part that you need to understand is there is a property change. It does not have the same properties of its components that were combined together. A good example for this is water, because water is made of hydrogen, which is a gas, and oxygen, which is a gas. And we put them together, we don't get a gas, we get a liquid. Sometimes we get ice. Anyway, that is what a compound is, a property change. Next up is a mixture, okay? This is where we combine 2 or more substances together, and there is no property change. A couple of great examples for you, and they can be physically separated. An example would be taking salt and pepper and mixing it together. If you put it on your food would still taste like salt and pepper, and if you had lots and lots of time, you could separate out the salt and pepper physically, right? An easier example to understand is like trail mix. So if you put trail mix and mix it all together, you can separate it physically and everything still has its same properties. The raisins are still like the raisins, the peanuts are still like the peanuts, and the M&Ms are like the M&Ms. They all retain their original properties. So these are the 3 different things that you're going to look at in your lab today. You're going to take a look at a compound, a mixture, an element, and a 4th one, and you're going to write a claim, evidence, and reasoning for each one. So you're going to answer the question, is it a compound, mixture, or element? What was your evidence from the station? And then explain how your answer made sense with a truth bomb. Something like a truth bomb for a compound would be that we know that compounds have a change in properties or a change in the state of matter. And then you could go on to discuss why your answer is correct based on that truth bomb and your evidence. Good luck.